this is how we use our full suite of products to run my professional services team. So one key element of being on the Salesforce platform is the visibility to see upcoming forecasted project work based on late stage opportunities. The templated playbooks mean I know exactly how much time is needed overall for that delivery, and importantly, exactly what time is needed for each task for each project team member. So that view of forecasted needs, alongside being able to see the existing capacity of my team, means I can make those decisions on allocation, hiring needs, and outsourcing requirements from one space. So here's an upcoming soon to close opportunity. I can see the forecasted start date for the end of the month, and from the related list, I can see a project and two related boards. This was created quickly using automation within Salesforce, so standard flow. And when I created the project, it also created my playbook for me. So now all I actually need to do is resource that project. So let's open up the project record. Just clicking through for you. So here we can see the overall project summary. We can see the account, opportunity, and the type of project. And I can already see that I've earmarked this to be delivered. But I want to check the capacity of my team and see where the best resource would be. So still within the project record, I can have a look to see at the resource plan. Excuse me. If I click on the request mode, I can see what project roles I need to allocate, and all of these have been automatically created based on that playbook. So let's go ahead and allocate the lead implementation manager role. If I scroll across the 10 weeks of delivery, and it is easier to do this, I've just made it as hard as possible in this demo, I can see that Walter does have capacity for these weeks. So let's go ahead and assign it to him.
You're just a fan of that trackpad.
I like it. I'm old school, so it works for me. Then I can also go back into the request mode and assign the other project role to Javier. It's that simple to allocate the forecasted work to my team. Also, once resources have been assigned from this project plan view, and my team is completed, they'll all receive notifications to say they've been allocated to that project. So they can have a look to see what they'll be working on. And this ensures that smooth visibility amongst the team and cuts down on the need for internal meetings to make allocation decisions. We also use the OBX boards to record all of our pre-sales activities and required time. So the capacity view that I'm looking at in this screen is all of my team's capacity because we plan all of our activities out. You can also see the total overview of resources and where they're planned using the Precursive plan view. You don't have to do it within the project. If I look at the workspace tab, I can see that all the tasks have been assigned to those resources and that we're ready to kick off the project. Sorry, it's just refreshing. So you can see Walter's been allocated and Javier's been allocated to his tasks as well. This view is my internal process, but what I also want to be able to share with the customer is a quick and easy to see output of their team's responsibilities and their time needed during the project. Collaboration and communication with those key stakeholders is essential for any well-managed project. So having the ability for your customer's team to quickly hone in on when they need to be available helps make that a much smoother process. As your internal and external project tasks can be linked using our cross-board dependencies, when the internal project is updated, so can the customer's tasks can be used B2. And you can take it one step further and share the customer project plan in a Salesforce community and then interact with the customer, which allows them to update and mark items as completed on their side as the project progresses, which is a really nice touch.
Fantastic, that's a great view. And I think you've got some further boards to share now as well.
Yep.
I think just one comment on that, Debbie, would be like, I think you've really been pushing this, haven't you, in your services organization, which is this idea that not all dependencies are created equal, and that whilst we internally care about the project plan and all of the tasks and the things that we need to do, we really just want to highlight or curate, if you will, for the clients, like what it is that they need to do and when, you know, in the various weeks, and what types of subject matter experts they need to bring to bear, as well as the amount of time they'll need to spend. And I think that's given your customers like more reassurance, hasn't it, during those implementations?
Definitely. And actually, the requirement to have an easier to read project plan came from a customer feedback after a project retro. So they pointed out to us that they found that the plan too messy and it was too confusing to know what they needed on their side. So we've really tried to make that clear and concise, make that go much more smoothly. So another key area of insight that I think is needed for successful service delivery is the ability to quickly see the health and the sentiment of a project, but alongside key metrics. So here we're using our board health feature for this. So on a weekly basis, the project manager or the lead implementation consultant will update the board health record to highlight any issues on the projects. And then we use that alongside the plan to complete overrun hours. So as a manager, I can see that there's several items I might want to have a look at. I can see that we've got 24 hours overall across the 6 projects that we're overrunning on. But I can also see I've got the hours I've yet to consume. The project at the top that's got the red health score also has a sentiment that makes sense. So I can see it's been delayed. I know that's going to have an effect to the project timeline. It might also have effect on my capacity. But I can also see there's 23 hours left in that project. So overall, that's the right rating. And it enables me to just from a report, have a quick look, and then I can move on to the next one. And the benefit of the dashboards is anybody in CS and the management team can have a look as well. One area you can't afford to not have access to is the project financials. So within Precursive, we visualize this on our budget page. The figures used here are rolled up from the opportunity, the plan time, actual submitted time, and we've got a couple of custom fields here as well for the overrun. This is a sample project, so we can quickly calculate how you track your margins, the profit and the cost for both fixed price and time and material deliveries. You can see how that planned budget allocation works. So if we have a look here, there's 149 hours budgeted, and I've got 119 hours which were planned, and there's 19.69 hours left of planned time. If I then look across at the actual column, I can see that we've already consumed 140 hours, and there's 9 hours planned. So we've got a project overrun of about 10.94 hours, and that represents a 7% overrun on the project. But if we go back to that value outcome that Anna mentioned earlier, I know that my delivery time is slightly over to finish, and I can see exactly how much more time I need to generate that outcome, but I can choose to go ahead and do it. The My Precursive page is where you can record your time and book holidays from. So if you're a manager or supervisor, you can also approve timesheets, expenses and holidays from this one-stop shop page. Every time you're booked onto a project or allocated a task in the Connect mode, the system will update your timesheet with planned hours for that project for that day. You just then have to quickly go in and add in your actual time and submit your timesheets, or if you're using the Connect mode, you can add it into the task and it will do it for you. Once you submit your timesheet, that's what we're using to run up onto the project financial, those costs that we just saw. So this is real-time cost and revenue data, enabling you to make real-time database decisions. So the next slide is my favorite slide. So this is my services team dashboard that I use internally. I check it on a daily basis. It forms the basis of all of my senior management reporting. And it shows me my actuals, my planned, my forecasted information across the key areas of time, cost, capacity, utilization, and timesheet submission. So the top row of the data is all about my active projects. It's implementations, additional services, and managed service customers. If I then want to drill down into the reports, I can see additional data about the cost, time, and sentiment across any of those projects. Moving down my dashboard, the second row of data is all about my forecasted work. So I can see my upcoming pipeline, and I can also see what I've got planned as forecasted against the partner delivery team. So this is, again, really key. I can see my kickoff by weeks, and I know how many I'm looking at. Based on that templated playbook that I've got, across those forecasted projects, I can immediately see the total number of time I need at each role to cover all of those projects. So as a services team manager or a resourcing manager, I'd be looking at this report daily so I know what I'm due to allocate out and then book those resources onto those projects. So going back to the question we had about pre-sales work and being if it's productive or not, I have a report that shows all of my pre-sales work by customer, by opportunity stage, and also by opportunity value. So this is what I use to make those decisions. And I've got everything in one place. So immediately, if there is a query about if I've had enough time or not enough time, I can take it straight from here. It's great data to have, for example, in hiring decisions and when planning the work as well, because if I know that our average pre-sales time per project this FY is 10 hours, I can make that allocation because it's based on real-time data. And as the pipeline is being generated by sales, I can compare my trend on pre-sales time to the demand gen trend to see if they align and where there might be any overlaps. Finally, I can see the two reports based on utilization. So I can compare my forecasted utilization with my actuals. Both reports enable to split that by billable versus non-billable. And in an upcoming product release, we will see utilization by time code space. So that will be really cool. I've also got a dashboard report for overdue unsubmitted timesheets across my team, but I'm not going to name and shame them on here, although sometimes I would like to do that. So that's how we use Precursive in our professional services team.